Welcome back to Dunizens. And I have with me the front of house. He's so far in front of the house, he's in the courtyard. It's the Flavor Flav Craig playing Blake Smurk.
Hello.
Uh, hello. And close behind, we have also the the master of analysis. There's no paralysis when you've got Tiran Corrado, played by Cornrow, with you. He's just giving me the side eye. And
No,
uh,
I was giving roll 20 this. My camera's not set up right. I was giving roll 20 the side eye and looking back. Yeah.
Yeah.
I will have no discouraging words said about Roll20 that I don't authorise first. And we have the swollen heart of Sergeant Brava Marlowe, in love with his team, played by the second Steve.
Other Steve. Yes, I'll be doing my best American accent today. Thank you so much.
And somewhere fading into the background, into obscurity, perhaps, we have William Tarosh. And we pick things back up. We're mid-scene, over in the household of the Runs, where you have been attempting to unpick some of the complexities of Victor Run's life, having received a call from his younger sister, Venetia. I'm not blind to the joke there. That she was desperately worried about her two brothers, the younger Darvo, who seems to have got himself conscripted into the military, Barragan's military nonetheless, and of course her older brother Victor, and entered into something of a conflict with Venetia's mother, Victoria. There's too many V names. Officially, no more V names for NPC creation, please. Thank you. Running in parallel to that, as we are leading up to the art exhibition, a scant few hours away, we had the execution of the possible plan for a legal embargo to prevent the two houses that are in a state of Canley doing anything unpleasant during the art exhibition. So you've all been working hard, a concerted effort from the team to try and remove obstacles before they even happen. Which means I think that when we finally get to the art exhibition, it's going to be really dull and boring. People sipping wine, looking at art, and then we go home, and that'll be the end of the module.
We can only hope.
So let's dial it back in to see what's going on in the Rund household. Because I've been doing my due diligence as a GM, I can show you your adversaries, so to speak. Yes, so here is the little girl. There she is, currently beating Sergeant Brava Marlowe's behind in a game of Magic the Gathering June edition. There's little Venetia, and the mother whom you have been questioning about what's going on with her brother. Here she is. Victoria Rund. And I believe it's William, you are squared off with Victoria right now, having tried to sort of unpick what is going And effectively, we're entering into something of a conflict situation. So unless I want to spend some threat, and I'm not gonna, it's your turn. You get to start things off. As you sort of are having this conversation with Victoria in her lounge. And I will defer to my learned rules support unit below there, Sergeant Marlowe, for any advice. But you get the initiative. You get to start things off in this conflict. But what we need to set up first is the disposition between you and Victoria.
Victoria. Okay.
I spent ages sorting out loads of handouts for this, and then I forgot in all the excitement to actually load them up so I could see what on earth to do. But in this conflict situation, I'll just scroll through a couple of different handouts until I find the right one. And they're all labelled in different ways. But in an intrigue conflict, we should work out the disposition. Now, she knows you fairly well in that you have been around with Victor on occasions. You're not exactly friends of her as much as you are very much friends of her daughter.
Right.
In that way that, you know, kids will tend to adopt uncles.
Random uncle.
Random uncles, yeah.
Sure. Yeah, that makes sense. Because also I think we said I've never been to this house before. So Victor must have brought Venetia to hang out for me to be friendly with her.
Absolutely. You've kind of met.
Can
on
you
mutual
babysit? I'm just
territory.
popping out to do some dodgy dealing. Yeah.
So I'm going to say she is neutral. So she's not raising the difficulty level or lowering the difficulty level. So there's no effect there.
Okay.
So that's one good thing.
Right.
The other thing I'm going to say is that the atmosphere here is defensive. So that's a trait for this seed. And she's defensive 1, so that will raise everything up 1 difficulty level, unless you can leverage traits to lower that.
I mean, I have for personality traits. I have infiltrator, loyal, and ruthless. I think ruthless might come into it, but might not be relevant right at the beginning.
Yeah, I don't think ruthless as a trait is going to help.
Does the house
with someone who's defensive?
The house trait is discreet.
Now, you can leverage your house trait as a personal trait, and I think that will help. Being discreet in your manner. Yeah.
Because, you know, I've come to her house to speak to her. I haven't, like, shouted it over the tannoy or whatever.
Okay.
Can I, for the record, if I don't see it here, the house traits that we have, they are on
artistic.
the sheet there.
I think, and discreet, isn't it?
Artistic and discreet.
Yep.
Is that
Yep.
what I have as well? Okay, just being sure.
Yeah.
Yep. No, that's right.
I'm gonna put them on my character sheet, like up in the traits, but I'm gonna note them as house traits just so I can mentally
Remember 'em.
Yeah, then you don't
leverage
have to
them and
switch-
just kind of like
switch sheets all the time. Yeah. Okay, so that helps neutralize things.
Right.
Okay.
Now,
Okay.
In a conflict, initially, in terms of zones, this gets disturbingly abstract here, but really, one zone is simply Victoria Rund herself. Another would be, if you wished and you could find a use in it, would be speaking with Venetia.
Okay.
I mean, really, those are the only sort of like major zones here that are sort of like relevant.
Right. Okay. So if oh, okay, that's cool. Yeah. Yeah. Abstract away. I'll pick it up eventually.
So, what kind of desire do you think you have? I mean, the disposition we've got initially is neutral. The two traits that we've leveraged kind of even each other out. What is, would you say, your ambition, your desire, sort of like in this tete-a-tete?
Well, ideally, I want her to give me information that we don't have already, something new that will like shed light on whatever it is that Victor's doing. How come they're in this situation? How come they're involved with House Vesarian, which now we know they clearly are because they're in this photo.
Okay, yes. So the desire, almost like a statement of intent, if you will, is to uncover more about the situation, and particularly as it pertains to Victor, and uncover more about what Victoria knows, and you suspect that she's not being forthcoming with everything she knows, so you want to try and bring that out.
Yeah.
Okay. Now, you might want to sort of like move and leverage assets, bearing in mind that assets can be tangible, concrete things, and I know that you have the snooping device, yeah, so that is a tangible asset, but you can also think about assets being intangible, like knowledge, things that you know, sort of like rumors, lies, things that are true and or fake, maybe even valuables. I mean, you have noted that this is not a rich household by any means. It's not poor either, but it might be that having an asset of something valuable as a form of leverage might be useful.
Right. Well, I do vaguely remember from last session that the thing that was forcing this conflict, which I saved for like right now because you use it once a scene or whatever, is this thing.
Oh, wow.
Create an asset at no cost, but I've got the wire. And what I'm doing is saying to her, there is incriminating evidence involving Victor and House Vesarian on this, even though that's not really true because I don't really know what's on it apart from whatever we spoke about that got listened to before.
So you already have this asset, and you anyway.
Yeah, I do, but what I'm lying about is what's on it, I'm trying to get her incriminated in it as well, trying to make her nervous about, if she thinks she's there is evidence against her, then maybe she'll open up and explain a bit more.
So what you could be doing, is moving this asset boldly. maybe, sort of like trying to force her hand, by drawing this to her attention, and trying to provoke a response, or you could be trying to move it subtly in some way, as in sort of insinuating that you have something incriminating, and trying to get them off guard in some way. So you've got the choice to make here if you want to sort of like present this asset as leverage to do it either boldly to try and tip her off balance and make a mistake, or move it subtly and try and sort of like undermine her position.
Yeah, then I'll move it subtly.
Okay.
To try and like get her off guard. And if I'm right, if it's like the other kinds of conflict, if you do it subtly, you keep the initiative. Is that right? Yeah.
Yeah, one of the benefits of successfully moving an asset subtly is that you don't have to spend momentum to keep the initiative.
Yeah. Cool.
But we do need to make a test. So normally in an intrigue conflict, you would be using communication, but you can make the case for any other skill that kind of fits the bill.
Well, can I use it as a move? You said if I can use it as a move, if I move an asset subtly.
So
how does that work?
Well, if we're thinking about the physical asset, are you could physically move it, take the move a bit more literally. You might try and sneak it into a position somewhere in the house.
Well, what if I could, what I was more thinking is if I can move sort of like myself in front of the door, or so I can show it to her, but I'm trying to cover the area. I don't want...
Yeah, cover the area.
Yeah, so no one else will see it. Like Venetia doesn't see it.
And shield it from Venetia. Yeah, that makes great sense because, if you have a bond with anyone in this household, of course you have a bond with Victor, but
yeah.
Perhaps with Venetia you have the sort of strongest tie. What's driving you? We know that the overall goal is to tease out information, but what is your drive at this moment? What is your...
I guess again I'd be using truth. I think my truth statement is a lie can travel halfway around the planet while truth is putting on its boots, because I'm trying to get her to tell me what's actually going on and dig through all Victor's bullshit.
Okay, so you're going to use truth. That statement seems to be congruent, so we haven't got any determination issues. That's great, so you can definitely use that. And you're going for now
move.
The move is more about, as you're talking to her about this, you're subtly positioning yourself advantageously. You're doing it sort of like subtle, so maybe it's a little a little taking her by the arm and leading over to a discreet
I just move
place.
Around
Speaking sort of like
where
softly.
I think Venetia can't see us.
Absolutely. So you're going to do a move skill using the truth drive. Now you do have some momentum left over. I think this is going to be difficulty 2, or is it a contested test? Steve, a quick check with my lawyer.
In the conflict rules, just like in dueling, the moves are standard difficulty 2, made difficult or easier by, in this case, the traits and situations. So the moves are standard moves, and then once you get to the attack part, that's contested.
Yeah, just want to double check.
Yeah, cool, brilliant.
Yep, 100%.
Awesome.
I have a go for the rules team.
Okay. So I use move. I'm going to use truth. I have a focus in maybe observe, because I want to keep an eye on Venetia.
Yeah.
Make sure she's not seeing. And and watch Victoria's, reactions.
Yep.
So that's 2 dice. When I attempt to move an asset subtly during a conflict, I get 1 d20 for free.
Nice.
I'll take that.
This is your bailiwick.
Then,
this is your bailiwick.
Yeah.
Well,
and then I'm going to buy 1 dice off you for 1 threat, for 1 momentum. Is that good?
Yep.
So I get the first one for free, and then I buy 1.
Yeah, so you're going for the momentum build.
Using a focus. Observe. Okay, so I spent 1, but it was a D2, and I got 3 successes, so I get 1 back. So I'll just put it back in there.
Yep, lovely. So 3 successes, generates an extra momentum, no complications. So, you maneuver her sort of like successfully and, maybe sort of like discreetly. Well, describe to me how you do this, how you discreetly intimate that, Victor's in trouble and we know he's in trouble and we've got, we know what's going on. We've got recordings.
Yeah,
This.
and I've also got this photo still in my hand. You know what I mean? So I move around and, the photo from the House Vesarian, and I'm like, well, maybe I just pull the wire out from behind it, and I'm like, tell me what is going on with Victor, because this isn't looking good for him. Like if Davo wanted to join the army, he could have joined us. He could have joined our soldiers. Why has he gone into House Vesarian? And why is he putting you in this position?
Her brow crinkles in consternation as you make this subtle sort of like suggestion, and she's trying to read in the implications of what you're telling her, whilst at the same time sort of like glancing over her shoulder, maybe looking in the mirror so that she can see where Venetia is and Milo are, and you can hear them in the middle of a very complicated game, and Venetia is oblivious and just sort of giggling and shouting about how she's winning. Mummy, I'm winning. Mummy, I'm winning. And she looks back at you. She's clearly sort of like torn. But you keep the initiative in this circumstance. So when you keep the initiative, you don't have to spend the momentum. You can carry on, and also I believe you can hand off to another. You could hand off to Brava if you wanted at this point. It's up to you.
Yeah, because Brava will still get a turn to do something, right? Because it's us together. Or anything that you wanted to do, Brava?
Well, I was trying to figure that out. I was trying to I wanted to be useful. I'm wondering if there is a way I can communicate with kind of build rapport, spend some time and build rapport with the young Venetia, to try to get her to tell me more about what's going on with Darvo, why he joined. Did he say he didn't want to be part of House Obscura? Or and
you've got the momentum enables you to do that because Mummy is distracted, and you have the opportunity to not just play the game, but to actually engage this kid in a bit of conversation without Mummy really having her full attention on it. So it works beautifully.
Yeah. In fact, I have my path towards this is I want to teach Venetia the code, the hand code for friend. So if she ever needs somebody from House Obscura, she can make the hand signal of friend, and all the house soldiers will know this.
So cool.
Okay. So let's run through the order of things then. What's driving you here in this moment?
Definitely feel like it's justice. Definitely feel like there is something that needs to be equalized here. I think this kid is getting the short end of the stick, if it were. Please. There's something is being leveraged against. I feel like something is being leveraged against Victor Rund, and his family is getting caught in the middle of something.
That could well turn out to be true, or it may not. Hopefully, we'll uncover this by the end of this scene. But what is your?
Yeah?
Have you got
I'm
justice
gonna assume
statement?
positive intent. Not that would. My just statement is justice needs a keen blade, but I don't know if that it applies here.
Well, certainly, I hope you're not doing anything sort of like physically with a keen blade in this moment. But you know, we could use it in a more metaphorical sense, in that, you know, rather than apply a shotgun tactic, you are applying a surgeon's skill here. So you're being delicate.
More like a scalpel.
Yeah. So that fits. So we're not in conflict with the drive. And skill-wise, I mean, this is a game you're playing. It could be communication. It could be understand. I think maybe understand. You're trying to help her.
Well, for this one, I'm trying to communicate speak with her about it. I'm not trying to.
Okay.
I'm trying to teach her something and build rapport first before I try to apply anything out.
Is that because your understand skill was lousy, Brava?
And I also have a focus of secret language in communicate, but both, yes. Maybe both. There's room for both.
No, typically in a social conflict, it is sort of like communicate that we go with, and you are teaching her something. So yeah, I'll roll with that.
Okay. So we'll go with communicate, and I am also going to. I think we have the momentum enough to buy a D20. What do you think?
Yeah, do it.
Okay, so will you take care of that momentum for me so I can spend one there, and I'm going to roll communicate. Let's see if it'll show up for me with justice, and I'll roll 3 dice using.
What difficulty is it?
A focus.
2.
That's a good question. 2. It's 2. Okay. Standard. And I got nothing. Oh my
god!
And 2 complications.
2 complications. Fuck hell.
Wow.
I'm going to be chalking this up for failed rolls. Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness.
Yeah.
Oh, you get an advancement point. Oh wait, no, because it was only difficulty 2.
Only difficulty 2. But you do acquire 2 complications.
Oh my
wow.
god.
I think I just taught her the finger instead of a friend. Wow.
I think the complication might be something along these lines. So a complication, as you know, is a sort of, kind of like a disadvantageous event and or trait that sort of like happens. You know.
Wow. I'm gonna actually. I'm gonna spend 2 threat to buy off one of those complications immediately. I can't have 2 complications. The kid's gonna start screaming that I'm like abusing her. I don't know what's gonna happen in this scene, but you know, this looks, you know, I don't know what's going on, but 2 is a bit much.
So you're gonna buy off one of those 2 complications.
I am gonna buy one of those complications.
I'll take all that threat, please. 2 threat, I believe.
Yeah.
Lovely some threat. Why didn't I have this in the duel? Okay. I'll drag off the threat then, shall I?
So that's going well. Yeah.
Fine.
Great.
Okay, so you neutralize one thing. We'll never know what that is. But the complication remains is that I think what happens is that Venetia gets really excited playing the game, and you know, whereas you were sort of like keeping her attention sort of like nice and quiet and sort of like diverted, and keeping her kind of away and separated, if you like, from Victoria. Now she's bouncing up and down and saying, "Mummy, Mummy, look at this, look at this, look what I can do," and she's showing off the hand sign you've just taught her.
Oh no.
Awesome. That's yeah. I think I've done enough. I will pass the turn at that point.
Okay.
So that was William's turn.
One turn.
He kept the initiative. He handed it over to you, and now it is Victoria's turn. And I mean, you have bamboozled her a bit, and I think she seeks to move an asset boldly in this. Really quite forceful language that she's using here. Let me grab her sheet. She's going to use her faith. Her drive statement really doesn't apply here. It's not in kind of conflict either. But I'm going to say she's going to use, I think her trait, a personal trait might apply. She's a performer. She's a seasoned artiste. She's a former dancer. She's used to the scrutiny of the audience, a sort of glare of publicity, if you will, and being under scrutiny, which is what she's getting from you right now at the moment, sort of like William, is you paying very close attention. Your focus was observation. Can't apply a talent. She is going to communicate. She doesn't have a focus, but it's to do this bold move. Her focus doesn't work here, but she's using her faith. But her trait reduces it down from a D2 to a D1. I'm going to spend a threat to give her another dice. I'll take that out in a minute to give her 3 dice. Not using a focus. How does she get on?
2. She got 2. She got a crit. 2 successes. She needed 1.
Well, she needed a 1. So okay. So she spent a threat, but she gains a threat. So remains as it is. And she says, "Don't tarnish the name of my brother in all this. He's a good man. He works for your house. How long have you worked with him, William? All those years, and you're trying to sully his name and our name. Don't bring me into this, and leave my daughter out of it." So she moves the asset boldly, successfully. She's trying to sort of compel you into an immediate hasty response. What's the other bonus from a bold asset move? I get to move one of your assets. She takes the photograph out of your hand and sort of places it, puts it down.
Fuck yeah. Okay.
And you were holding it with the camera behind, right? With the little recording.
I had
stick.
it, and I had the wire, and I showed her both. She just took the thing, and I've got the wire. Yeah.
Yeah, so she's just moving that asset out of the way, so you can't, keep beating her over the head with it.
The photograph
The photo.
or the wire?
The photo.
The photo, yeah. Okay.
And that's the end of that turn. And now we're going to cut over to House Obscura for a bit. There's momentum in the pool, boys, but there's a lot of threat going on as well. Back in House Obscura. Yeah.
Sorry.
Now I believe you were intent on trying to uncover more information right?
That data, yeah.
You were looking in, well, you were looking at that sort of slim bronze, sort of like memo recorder style device that had been secured from Anna Vesarian's house, hoping that there might be useful, juicy information on it. You've already seen that it's got various levels of encryption and data sort of like on it. Where would you like to be undertaking this investigation?
Now, do I have my own office? Do I have some access to processing equipment in Veritas's office?
Oh, yeah. I mean, I'd say, you know, given your relationship with him, you know, almost he serves sometimes as a bit of sort of an adjutant to him, that you'd have an office next door to him that has an intervening door as well. You know, let's say that we'll create that little space.
Yeah, that sounds great. So I'll probably be in my own office, but I'm wondering about so assuming that I want to get into let's recall what we already know about this information. So it's from the Vesarian house. It was being edited by the spy master from House Vesarian, and she was in the midst of essentially obscuring transactions that were spice purchases of Vesarians.
Correct. Also, just as a point of clarification, are you with Blake at this point? Would you both be doing this, or is Blake doing something else and I have to run 3 scenes and flip around them?
No, I'll go easy on you. I think Blake could be with Corrado because we're waiting for a message from the Contessa, right? So
very true. You're waiting.
We want to be,
yeah.
And times are ticking, so I think we'll be together so that we can be easily found the second that the documents get signed. Maybe I'm next door quizzing Veritas on how to be an art critic, because Smurk's in charge of appreciation, but he's all stone face, isn't he? So
let's have the door open. We've got 2 sort of like zones, if you will. You know, Veritas's office, where you are, Blake, at the moment, receiving a masterclass on art critique. You know, and he's really enjoying you, grilling you on that in the name of friendship and support. And then you've got Tiran's office next door, and the intervening door is open. I'm going to say also
and
that
besides, Veritas's office is where all the beanbags are, right? So
absolutely. So all we can really see are your knees at this point.
You're talking about postmodernism in modern oil paintings or whatever.
No. Dadaism came after Cubism. It's very intricate conversation is going on. I'm also going to say that because you're in your office, Tiran, it's a resource-rich area. You've got all these tools and equipment, you know. So it's got a trait of analysis 1, as in it will, you know, it's got rich information resources that you can bring to bear to improve analysis. So that will make things easier.
Yes. So there's the Berrigan Spymaster obscuring Vesarian spice habit, which and we found also that recently she started to get large sums of money from an outside source.
That's right. Very recently, yes.
And she also, we also discovered in there that the spice habit has been running for at least a couple years, but has been getting progressively worse, and the amount of money she was spending was crippling the house.
All true.
So, I think the next question is, what would we have to do to get through some of that encryption, or to get at some of the guarded data.
This will be an understand skill.
Mm-hmm.
And it's a very difficult task. It's going to be D4, but it will be reduced to D3 because of the resources that you have. And you might be able to leverage some other things to succeed with. I mean, so it's going to be an understand skill. What's driving you here?
Oh, just should we do traits first?
Yeah.
Any other so
anything you want to
I've got mentat or perceptive.
Definitely perceptive.
Yeah. Okay.
I think mentat
so that gets
could work, but because you haven't, I mean, you've seen the basic sort of like file, but I don't think you've. No, I'm just going to say perceptive right now is doing the job for you. Yeah. So that will bring it down another one. So we've gone from 4 to 3 to 2.
And then something else I'm wondering is, can I use this skill on something that's already an understand role if I want to have the focus on it?
Okay. Once per scene, you may use your understand skill on a single skill test instead of any other skill, and you are counted as having a focus for that test. It's probably best when used for a different skill. I'm not saying you couldn't use it because it's still a skill test what you're doing, but would your focus in understand be useful here anyway? I don't know if this is the best time to wheel this out.
Yeah. Let's hold on to it for now.
Yeah.
So, I'm going to do the difficulty 2. So I'm going to spend 1 momentum, I think, when the time comes. But yeah, as far as drive, I think I'm going to stick to truth. With truth is more powerful than any weapon, and because we're trying to find out what's in this data and use that to preventing people using this against us, and ideally use it against them at some point.
I'm also going to say that there's quite a bit of risk attached to this. In that normally the complication ranges are 1, but there's quite a bit of risk in that if you get this wrong, and you know that meme recorders like this on can sometimes have devices that will lock or destroy the data on board as a defense. So I think because of that extra level of jeopardy, extra level of risk, the complication rate is not 1 here, it's a bit higher than that. I was reading this.
Buying that extra dice just got a lot more interesting. Another shot at a complication too.
Yeah, so this is so you're going to get a complication potentially on a 2 or a 1 here.
So
or 19 or
20. 19 or 20.
Or 19 or 20.
So I'm gonna
inverted my.
I'm going to scan. I'm going to take the time, even if this means we have to delay the analysis, I think it makes sense. I'm going to go over all of the data that's not locked, just so that I have it and can mentat recall it if I ever need it. Before attempting anything that might trigger a security mechanism.
Okay.
So I don't know if that advances the clock or what have you.
Yeah, I just think it's going to take more time if you're going to do that. But what I will permit then is a sort of D0 test to go over all that, try and recollect it all in, give you the opportunity to build up more momentum, but we'll push the clock an hour as you really study it and delay getting into the gritty territory of that extra stuff. Yeah.
Okay, so I'll do an. Yep.
I'm sorry, I don't want to interrupt. Maybe I don't want to intervene, but maybe you might want to consider spending some momentum create an asset like a decrypting tool or something that can assist with this. That might be a way to go. Like, if I was in a fight, I'd want to create an asset that's a knife. If you have you get this thing decrypted, a tool may help with this. I don't know if there's something
to
like
lower
that might work.
the difficulty.
To lower
so far,
that overall difficulty.
Yeah, we already had the
That would be a
difficulty
trait
down to 2, so I think I'm okay on that difficulty.
Okay. Cool.
And I don't know if there's
something
we can do to make the complication less dangerous, but
yeah, well, that's
we'll
the
see.
risk you're gonna have to take. You can either
When
take
you add
time
dice, yeah.
over it, or you can try and create another asset, as Steve suggests, to try and increase your chances and make it better.
We've got some time, so I'll go over it for now. So I'll do the D0. So
Right.
I'm doing drive roof.
Okay, could you just, I'm pretty sure your truth statement will be fine knowing what it is.
Yeah, so we're doing truth is more powerful than any weapon, and it's, again, I don't want a truth that we don't know about to be used against us, and I want to be able to use these things against Berrigan, or if need be, Vesarian.
Yep, I'm with you.
Alright, how many dice? We're going to do, it's a chance to build some momentum,
Definitely
so
take it. It's always worth taking it.
I'll spend a momentum to get an extra die, and put that through. And I don't have a focus applicable for this one, but let's hope for the best. Hey! So the momentum, I'll put 1 momentum back in.
1 momentum back in.
I'm sure Roll20 loves you.
I'll put another. It's because I gave it the side eye earlier. Yeah. I'll actually put 2 back in the momentum. And really, I was doing this strictly to get this recorded into my mind palace. And I don't think I've got any more questions for this data at this time.
Yeah. So you're really sitting with the data, just going through all the safe files, and a lot of it appears superfluous and, is not really relevant, doesn't appear immediately irrelevant or germane, but, you're starting to soak it all in and map it all out and look for connections that are tangential, and it's a beautiful mind moment going on.
So maybe I'll put 2 momentum back in the pool and use the last momentum to see, to ask a quick, am I starting to get an inkling of any grand pattern beyond the slow spice, the spice addiction slowly wearing away this house's finances?
So you've got a good success there in this body of data. What you're starting to see are almost, how in bank accounts people can put in notations, like little identifying tags when they move money around. This is all in innocent sort of like sundry purchases, but you start to notice where these purchases are being made, and it seems like over the last month or so, Anna Vesarian has been making purchases from merchants and vendors based on ecstasy. Quite what that means. I mean, you knew obviously that she had a place, that she had bought somewhere here. She has her own little island of haven. But she seems to have been making a lot of incidental, sort of innocent, sort of like purchases from vendors all over the continent, and in some of the smaller sort of like continents, some of the island sort of like regions. And then you recognize that the island region where she's making most of her purchases happen to be where Minor House Berrigan is located. Now that could be a coincidence, but of course probably in your mind you have a saying like, there's no such thing as coincidence, only data that we haven't fully come to understand yet.
That's going to be my next drive statement.
This correlation bears investigation. That's my like superhero line.
Now, Blake, right now, you're having a finer discussion of various artistic points, and you're being schooled by Veritas, of course, is the art technical director as well as the spy master. It's like he's holding up flashcards. Flashcards. Different artistic motifs and
brutalism.
Yeah, brutalism. 10 out of 10. Poof. Got that one.
Damn. Think of another art thing. Abstractism.
Okay, I have an art joke for you. You ready?
Yeah.
What's the definition of Baroque? When you're out of Monet.
Oh.
Very good.
Very good.
I wish I wrote that joke, but I stole it years ago. Yeah.
Most jokes are. So, is there anything Blake would like to be doing right now, apart from obviously straining his brain, learning about different art styles, so he can be well schooled?
That's definitely his number one priority at the moment, because the art exhibition's coming up in like a matter of hours, right?
Yeah, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 away.
So yeah, I think he's mostly just really cramming his art, because he's had it sprung on him that he's got to appreciate it, and it's an issue.
Well, there's a lot of momentum in the pool, and of course, it's being used for a variety of different things right now, but you could consider creating an asset with it, which might be something like Art Primer, which would make your role in the exhibition a lot easier.
Yeah, I was thinking of using determination to create a trait of art critic while I'm already there. That's what I'm angling for.
Okay.
Yeah, because you don't want to create the asset before you're in the right scene to use the asset.
That's true, but there are always options to make assets longer lasting and cross from one scene to another, so there's a lot of momentum floating around. All I'm trying to sell you on the idea is that this might be a time to leverage it and make your job in the art exhibition as easy as possible. But it's your choice to make.
Possibly a bit cheaper, I suppose.
Cheaper.
How much does it cost to make a permanent asset?
Creating an asset is normally 2 momentum. Making it permanent, I look at Steve there just in case, because I suspect you might know. Making it permanent.
I will come back to that. I will be.
Spend.
It's 2 more.
I'm
Yes,
seriously.
2 more.
Yeah.
It's 2 more.
Yeah.
I kind of think spending 1 determination to become a permanent art critic might be actually cheaper for me. And it kind of suit him a bit, so.
That's absolutely fine. Of course, you always have the option to give me threat if you don't want to waste too much momentum.
No, you're in the danger zone. I don't want you having 6 threat at any point. That's bad for the
I can have more than 6 threat.
I know, but that's the magic number for breaking a binding promise. Remember.
So I don't know what you mean. Sorry, I don't know what you mean. I don't know what you're talking about.
I'm just trying to make Steve feel guilty. Other Steve.
Doesn't take much. I'm already feeling terrible about my role today. I'm just, during
the only other business I have with the spy master is trying to find out what he's up to in trying to help me out in my career. But I don't know if now's the time or place.
Heck, you can have a go at it if you want. Sort of like weave it into the conversation. You can do a communication skill and try and tease out from him what's going on with him.
Go on then, let's do that. Give me some dice to roll. Then I can, if I mess it up, you won't have to feel guilty then. So
let me just make sure I got this right. You're trying to tease out from him what exactly? What is it you're trying to get out from him?
I want to know what he's offering. like in more solid details, and I think you're a swell guy, and I hope you do better, which is about what he's got so far. So I want to know what you can offer me, essentially.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. So that's going to be a D2 communication test. If you've got any traits you want to leverage first, you want to bring that D2 down.
Savvy.
Savvy. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, that'll bring it down to a D1.
Okay. That's it, I think.
Then what's driving you?
Yeah.
Is this personal or house or duty or whatever?
I think this is power, so yeah, it's personal.
Yeah.
I will have what is owed to me is the trait, or the statement, I should say.
Yeah. Okay.
Does that do anything?
Well, it just, I always have to think, I like to know the drive to make sure you're not in conflict with it, because it's an opportunity to gain determination if you are. I'm just pondering that. No, I think it's not in conflict here, so it doesn't give you anything else apart from that. So that's fine.
Sure. I'll use the momentum with the hope that I'll win it back, so I'll get 3 dice.
Yeah, but have you got a focus you could use?
Focus. I've got diplomacy and persuasion.
You could definitely use either of those. So you can click yes to focus, which gives you more of a chance to crit.
Alright, let's do it.
Wow!
Oh, he's on one today.
Wow. Okay.
Jesus.
So, that generates what, 3 successes there? No, hang on a minute. What is
6.
No,
That's
6.
6.
6.
Because it's blue.
6 successes.
Holy moly! All right. Well, look, this is a goal. This is a golden opportunity here, because you spent 1 momentum. It was a D1. You got 6 successes. So theoretically, that's 5. But you can only keep the momentum at 1, 2, 3, 4. That's 6. But you can spend the rest on obtaining information, and asking me questions.
Or creating assets.
Or creating
Or
assets.
creating advantageous traits or assets that would make sense out of this. So maybe Veritas shares
as well,
an asset of information, or something you could use against Irulan.
Yeah.
I mean,
well, do I find out what I get from him first?
But you get no advancement points. Ha
Yeah, you do.
Yeah, that's how you roll dice, Steve.
Yeah.
Apparently, I'm learning from you. Apparently,
He's a good role player.
I'm taking notes. I'm taking notes
Yeah,
about.
I'm really good at role playing today.
That's how you role play.
Gotcha. Okay. Good
So
to know.
What happens is that Veritas, as you're going through these instructional aids and back and forth about different art styles, and you probe him with this question. He glances to the left and just sort of like looks at the intervening door, and he just toes it shut. And then he says, "I'll be frank with you, Blake. I think Irulan's relationship with Contessa is a cause for concern. They're both the Bene Gesserit sisterhood. They have a past together. And I don't like Irulan. I don't trust her.
Oh. Has something happened? Aside from suspicions?
Oh, is that obtain information?
Is that a momentum?
Is that an obtain information question?
Sure, why not?
Alright.
Got one off.
Okie dokie.
Failed. Let me try again.
You can just delete it.
Alright.
I mean, you can just drag it around the board for fun.
I'm trying my best.
You're doing fabulous. He says, certain information came to light fairly recently. I'm not going to insult both of our intelligences by telling you about the source, but the bottom line is that I suspect now that Ireland's faction within the Bene Gesserit Sisterhood has its own ideas about some of the goals of the Sisterhood altogether. And I don't like how close she is to the Contessa. She leverages their relationship as fellow sisters of the Order. I think she has an ulterior motive that's driven by her faction in the Order, not by her loyalty to the House.
See? Is the Contessa aware of this?
No. I gave you that one for free.
Hmm. That is troubling.
How much do you know about the Bene Gesserit Order?
I know they're pulling the strings, maybe. How much does Blake Smurk know about the Bene? What's common knowledge?
That's a great question. I'm going to flip into my folder, the known universe, and pull up.
That sounds like a big one.
Pull up, and ping, law bomb number 2. So you've now got a sort of like overview of the history of the Bene Gesserit Sisterhood. I'll bottom line it for you, in that they have many sort of like layers of agendas, but you know, I think one thing that you would know of is they are constantly forming political alliances. They are constantly making themselves indispensable in houses within the Landsrad, and no one quite knows exactly what their goals are, because they're a very secretive order, but there's a lot of rumour and talk that, you know, they are seen to be the power behind the throne of an awful lot of houses.
And we've established they're not a monolith, they're like factions within the Bene Gesserit.
Yes, that they, you know, that there are factions within them, different sort of like groups who have different ideas about how things should be done. The Mother Superior is meant to be, the head of the Order is meant to be, you know, the single source of truth for the Order, but reality is a lot more complicated than that, and there's competition and infighting within them.
As far as creating an asset goes, could I maybe get an asset that's like an invitation for a meeting with the Contessa then, for like after the exhibition, to try and kick the nest a bit?
Now the trick is here that you can create an asset with 2 momentum. It will only last within the confines of the scene unless you spend 4 to make it more permanent and last beyond the scene. So you could force
That would only
the hand...
take 1 out of the pool though, because he's got 3 still.
Exactly. So you know you could make a permanent one if you want to go that way. Yeah.
Go on then. I'll yoink one of his momentum and pressure.
Absolutely. That's a
Awesome.
awesome
What's
use
his
of that.
name?
Yeah.
My
great
new
use
best
of it.
friend Veritas to sort me a meeting out with him. With her, sorry.
Yeah, and I think, you know, Veritas is very much disposed to do that, you know, and he effectively makes the arrangements for you to be able to have an audience with the Contessa discreetly, yourself or with whomever you like, really, who you want to take with you on your own terms. So you've got an open invitation. When you want it, you can have a scene with the Contessa and talk with her about what you will with that asset, spending that asset. Brilliant. I love it.
Thank you, Veritas. I am. I must say, I'm quite shocked at how easily. How easily I've gained your cooperation on this matter.
He smiles. He says, "I've done my homework on you, Smurk. I see an opportunity."
You've done the Smurk homework. I'm glad to hear.
And I really must make a transition at this point smoothly. Let's head back to the Rund household, where we're in the midst of our conflict. Now, where were we? I believe it's yeah. I mean, she made that bold move and took that asset away from you, William. So it's back over to your guys' turn. You have the initiative.
Okay. And Brava and Venetia came in, or they're sort of like getting her attention, or Venetia's kind of getting her attention, and
yeah, she's bouncing up and down because of the complication, you know, and
Mm-hmm.
she's shouting, you know, look at this mummy, look at this mummy, it's a secret Obscura sign, you know.
Okay.
And so, you know.
And then we're gonna have a conversation about what secret means.
So, if we wanted her to go away again, Venetia, that's not moving Victoria's asset, because these two people are zones, right? They're not assets.
Well, she is an asset in a way, but she is in another zone. So I believe when you have to.
So perhaps maybe the sergeant could go first and maybe see if
I was
he
gonna
can,
say,
like,
yeah, I could try and
usher her
subtly
back
bring
out
her
and that.
back to the room to go to keep playing the
I
card
do the
game.
secret sign to you to say, get her out. What the fuck are you doing?
Is that the secret sign? Like,
Yeah.
and so I'll do the secret sign to say yes, and move. I'm gonna try to move subtly, the child back into the room and continue to play and lose at Dune the Gathering.
And there, and also if you're successful at that, then you're going to sort of like hold the initiative.
The idea is to be able to keep the initiative and let William Tarash keep going. There is the idea.
But
So,
you
yeah.
are labouring under a complication, which is sort of like
I
shouting
am.
away, and that's going to make the difficulty a bit harder because she doesn't want to shut up.
Correct.
So it would be D2, but now it's D3.
And I'd like to
Bear
use
with me
my.
1 second.
Yeah.
I will see if I can use this once per scene. I can command ally Sergeant Marlowe to act. Requires no test from me, but he can immediately attempt it, and I can assist him. He acts on my turn regardless if he's already acting it. It doesn't prevent him acting later on.
It's like he gets an extra turn. So if you take the initiative, you take your turn first, then William, and you use that direct.
Use that, to try and get him out.
And you can assist with it too, so it's like. As
Right,
I press the wrong button.
That's awesome.
I'll use the secret code to assist him in trying to get her out.
Yeah, absolutely.
And I'm going to try to use the House Obscura trait of discreet to try to mitigate some of that, complication.
Yep. So you're using that house trait that will take it from a D3 back down to a D2. What's driving you here?
It's definitely. I think we're going to go back to his duty here is now. I can see what's happening in the room. Is like he's out of his depth a little when he starts to work here. So he's going to go back to duty.
Okay.
Especially if he's being commanded to do so, he's being, he's good at following orders. So we'll hopefully.
Okay, yeah. So my bluff for my house. Okay, that's cool. It's your duty statement, and this is most likely a communicate skill. But if you want to make the case, maybe it could be a move skill.
I was gonna say we could probably do a physically, since I'm trying to physically move her back to the other room and get her going again.
Let's do that.
And kind of, and we'll do it that way.
Yeah.
So we'll do it. It's the same level, so they're both 6. So we'll do.
Any focus?
Move with duty, and there are enough momentum. I think I'm gonna need to buy an extra D20 here, and I'm gonna use my focus of swift to do it swiftly.
Yeah.
Get this conversation back on the rail to kind of like, hey, let's get back to the game.
So there's a discreet hand sign from William on his turn that you see in the mirror that's on the mantelpiece, which is making the House Obscura gesture for get that kid out here.
Absolutely. Yeah. All right, and let's see what we can do.
2 successes.
Are you
2
fucking
successes?
kidding
That's
me?
good.
Pardon for the French.
And another
complication.
And another complication. Okay, sorry. Pardon my French. I don't like to. All right, I'm gonna spend 2 threat and buy that complication off. I don't know what's going on, but D20 hates me today. All right, so I will. Because if you're assisting me on this one, William Tarash,
you might get
the complication also applies to you, and I do not. That will fork this whole scene right up. So I'm gonna spend 2 threat to.
Okay. I'll take those threat. Wow. I'm
cool.
Yeah, it's getting a little hairy in there, but we'll try to.
But needs must, because I'm starting.
And then
to
I'll do an
double
assist.
Needs must when this little devil child drives. Yes.
Doing your assist. How are you assisting?
Yeah. So. I guess I'd be using communicate as well. Yeah.
I think communicate would be good for that one.
Yeah. Drive statement. Let's have a look. I think that I'm going to use my duty statement because, like the sergeant says, this is all getting like a bit hairy. Do you know what I mean? And I want to.
Okay.
I have to try and get information out of that, and I don't want the kid to be here. My drive statement is no sacrifice is too great in the service of my house.
I just want to gently pause for a moment to question whether or not how that drive statement works. No sacrifice is too great for the house. Does that include children and friends?
Like
your friendship with Rund. Are you willing to sacrifice your
friendship with Rund? Yeah, I don't. I think what I think is
because
I know that. Go on.
If it is too great, then I can offer you a point of determination, and we can consider that. But
what I'm thinking is, I have to get information out of her. Now, whatever happens with her, if it goes really badly, I don't want kid to be right there to see that.
So that sounds like, you know, what we're kind of teasing apart here is whether or not, you know, your relationship with Rund is too great a sacrifice to sort of like throw away, or not. That's what we're kind of sort of like toying with. It sounds like you're erring on the side of, actually, no, I will burn my relationship with Rund for the sake of the house.
Yeah, I think I am thinking that. But then I'm also thinking, is it a conflict if I'm concerned about Venetia seeing what's going on?
Yeah, it is. That's what my argument is that you're that it is a conflict.
Yeah, because I'm not bothered about at the moment. I'm not bothered if my friendship with Victor is like ruined or because I don't trust him.
Okay.
But actually, yeah, I think maybe if I'm concerned that Venetia's going to see this, then maybe that is a conflict. You know what I mean?
So let's go through. Oh, hang on.
Yeah, you could also throw maybe just. Would it make sense to, if you have a no statement on your justice, for instance, you could say that that's like a justice-based thing, that you don't want the kid to be subjected to anything negative unnecessarily.
Well, here's your options. You could do that. You could switch to your justice drive, which is not as strong as your duty drive, you know, and makes it a bit more challenging to succeed on this test. Or you can stick with duty. We'll say it's in challenge. I'll offer you a point of determination. And you can accept that if you want. And then we decide whether you're going to challenge or comply with a statement. Or you can choose not to use that drive, sacrifice it, and go with justice instead. It's up to you.
Well, I mean, I definitely want to see if I can get a point of determination because I don't have any. It's handy.
All right.
So tell me how that works.
So we'll give you the determination point. So that's yours. Stick it in your character sheet because we're going down that route. And now we go through challenge or comply.
Yeah.
So either you're going to challenge your drive statement and start, you know, it needs modification because you can't hold true to that statement. It's not true that no sacrifice is too great because, you know, children that you love, you won't sacrifice. So that would mean that you would challenge the statement. We'll put a line through it. Yeah. We'll put a line through it, and you can no longer use that drive until we recover that drive later. Or you can comply. You can, you know, begrudgingly
comply with the drive,
comply with the drive, and then that means you will get a complication when you do this test.
Right.
Whether you succeed or fail, there's a complication coming your way.
Okay, I'll take the complication. I don't want to lose that drive statement.
Okay. Yep. Fair dues. So
nice.
Now you make
felt the same way. Yeah.
Make the skill test.
So bear with me because this is still the assist for Brava.
Yeah. Yeah, it is.
Right. Okay. So
but
it's
there's going
just
to be a complication in this.
A
assist.
single D20.
Yeah.
But that complication is not for the skill test. It goes directly to you, not for the right. Yeah. Is that what we're saying?
Yeah.
Because it's counter to one of your drives.
Yes.
Yeah. Oh, okay. So you don't get the complication.
I don't think so.
Even though I'm assisting
have enough.
you.
I mean, I don't know.
Yeah. Okay.
I've got plenty to spare.
Hopefully, I'll take some of those complications. I'll magnet that away from you a bit. Okay. So.
I need all the help I can get.
And also, I'll use a focus of Swift as well, if that's cool.
That makes sense.
I'm trying to get her out quick.
Yeah.
1d20. Hell yeah.
Oh,
I get a complication,
but two. Yes. Well done.
So you get.
So we've got 4 altogether.
Sounds right.
And what did we need?
Yes.
We needed 2, right?
Yeah.
Did we? Right.
Do we refill momentum?
And we get momentum back.
There we go.
Done.
Plenty of momentum. Nice. But there's a complication.
Nice. Okay.
Indeed.
Okay. So as you're Yeah, I think the complication is that you did this sort of like indirect sort of like command to Brava. You sort of like signaled to him, to get the child away, and she picks up on that. That it becomes obvious to Victoria that that something very serious is afoot. Because you're actively seeking to shield her daughter from it. So you're shielding, so this is going to make it, but because she knows that you're doing that and there's something really serious that you want out of her, you've got that complication of she knows the game is up, something like that, and that's going to make it more difficult for you trying to get information out of Victoria right now, because she knows that you're after
that definitely changed the tone of that conversation.
So good. Right, but Brava gets Venetia out, and then it's still our turn because that was his free turn.
It is, but it's a bit more difficult dealing with her now.
Okay.
So you've done your turn, and you've got Brava to do his action. You supported that. That's happening on your turn, but it's still your turn, and Brava will get another turn.
Yeah. Okay. So I can either do a subtle or a bold. Remind me again.
You could do a subtle move or a bold move.
Yeah.
And you need sort
or you can use
an extra success. Yeah. And a subtle move means we keep the initiative, but a bold move means I can move a.
You can take an asset away from her. Yeah.
Yeah, I was gonna say bold might be the way to go here to get her to say something or to admit something, an asset from her in the form of some kind of truth that's going on in the scene,
And also, bear in mind that the mask of power, I know I've got the wire, and it's the physical wire, but the mask of power has basically told her that, like this is blackmail evidence against her. It's like that's an asset, the evidence, the thing. So she should already know that we've got something on her.
Oh yes.
You know what I mean?
She also she knows that you got something on her, but she also knows that this all boils down to you wanting something about Rund. So there's
yeah. Okay, so I can either do the bold or subtle, or I can go into an actual attack.
You could also create a trade or asset if you want to create something directly.
Yeah. Just going into
because that's a difficulty 2 test to create a trade or asset.
Okay. So, give me some
maybe something like a either a rumor or I don't know how much of a lie it would be, but Victor's in trouble and I'm here to help him. Like I want to help him.
Yeah.
Give me something. We're here because we're friends, and I don't want to something of that nature.
Maybe you know something from maybe your history. You remember something about Victor that his sister would know, and that's very personal.
I've got something. Do I remember that I had a pin badge or a patch of his? That's something that either Venetia gave me when we got here, or there was something like that, something of Victor's that I'm sure Venetia gave me. It was something like a pin badge or a just something from his that I would know was his. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
There was something like that. But yeah, I'll do the bold thing because I want to
Cool.
show her, again, look, this is, like you say, this is evidence. Do you know what I mean? It's like, he's already in trouble.
So this is a communication skill from the sounds of it.
Yeah, okay.
And
okay.
The drive is... Will you tell me what you think is motivating you in this moment?
Well, like, it's the thing again, do you know what I mean? I have to get, what I feel like is I have to get some information from her. I don't want us to go back having not gained anything. So, I think,
and you can even imply that going back empty-handed means that someone else, not
true,
you, who's going to take over this case, who is not as compassionate and considerate about your family.
Yeah, because we are like family, like you say. I've known Victor
I'm trying to de-escalate. If you don't give me something, things are going to escalate, and that can't be good for you.
Yeah. So I think use communicate. Can I use the truth again? Because we're trying to get her to tell us.
Yep.
I'm trying to get her to open up with something.
Yep.
So use communicate.
That's not a lie. That's actually true. Things are going to get really dicey for this family very quickly if we don't sort something out.
Can I use observe as a focus again? Because I'm watching like how she's reacting.
Yeah, I'm happy with that.
Okay, and we've got, so I'm going to spend 1 momentum for 1 extra dice, because this is a D3, isn't it? Did you say?
In order to make this move,
3 because of the...
Yes, it is a difficulty 3 because of the
complication.
Yeah.
So I'm going to let me just check out my traits again. Can I use loyal, like to the house? Like I have to try to, or even ruthless.
I think ruthless probably kicks in a bit here.
Yeah, because I will totally throw under a bus.
You are sort of like pursuing. So yeah, that will take it down
to a D2.
Yeah.
Okay, so it takes it to a D2, and then I'm going to spend 2 more, so I get 4 dice. Let's see if I get that using a focus.
Hang on. 1 momentum gets you 1, and then 2 more will get you 2.
2 more get me 2. Okay, so I got 2 successes, which I needed, so I didn't get any more.
Oh, you didn't pull a Brava and get a complication, so that's great.
No, I got 3 reds though. That's quite Brava-esque.
So this bold move is successful with her, and and there's that harsh tone of edge she sort of like hears in your voice as you sort of like step it up a notch about how serious this all is, and how if you don't get something out of her, then
I won't be able to help her. I won't be able to help Victor. He'll just be on his own, and whatever he's in, he's not going to get out of.
There's a tear in her eye, and she says, "What do you want from me? What do you need to know?" She sort of tears up a bit.
I need to know. Go on.
He's taking risks.
I need to know what he is doing with House Vesarian. What is he giving them? Or why is he involved with them? Apart from Darvo being there, I understand. Why is Darvo there?
Well, you can see that she's vulnerable when she's on the cusp of answering that, but you need a successful attack, social attack.
Yeah.
To really execute it, but you can see you've opened up the possibility where she's admitted that he's doing things that are putting everyone that he's taking big risks, and she's vulnerable now. So but that bold move, you'd unlike the subtle move means you can't keep the initiative, but you have put her off guard.
Unless you spend 2 points of momentum.
That's what I was about to say. Sure. You could be spending 2 points of momentum and following it up because you see the vulnerability here.
No, because if I want to, if I'm going to attack, I would rather spend the momentum in the attack.
Yeah.
Because that's when she rolls a defensive
she sets the
difficulty level. Yeah.
Absolutely.
So I'd rather keep momentum in the pot for them.
Okay.
Yeah, we want to build it up something. Okay.
Nice one. Okay, so you've had your turn. The initiative has passed, so it's back to her.
Do I also, if I do a bold thing, get to move an asset? Move one of her assets?
Move one of her assets.
You may move one of an opposing character's asset by one zone if you succeed.
I thought that was I thought we were going to get something out of her, like get something.
Is that what it counts?
An asset of truth or something kind of trait, her vulnerability.
Could we then could we retcon the successful roll into creating a trait or asset and say you got either the vulnerable trait on her by doing that?
Oh, that's
Would that be the more mechanical? Would that be the more mechanical, the more Dune-esque way to?
Yeah.
It's
a really good idea.
It is a really good idea. Dune Mechanics, half hour. Welcome to Dune Mechanics, half hour. If you move an asset boldly, then you may move one of an opposing character's assets by one zone if you succeed. Which is a hard thing to sort of like figure in espionage.
Basically, you get them to spit out in an intrigue conflict. The way I see it is like you say something bold to try to shake them out, and then you move an asset. Basically, they have to give you an asset. They you move it to your zone. Like they have to communicate it in some way. They say yes, and they're lying the whole time. Or oh my gosh, I can't believe I said that.
Yeah.
Well, and that's what she gave.
Okay, and that is kind of what she's done. Yeah.
She said, yes, he's taken awful risks and looks really.
Yeah.
Okay, so there you go. So that's the thing. That's the truth. Is that that's the asset here.
Yeah, sure.
Cool.
Okay. Yeah. Okay, that's cool.
So now you can use that asset. He's taking risks to apply that in the attack as well.
Yes.
Right. Cool. Okay, awesome.
But it's over to her.
Yeah.
Right, Victoria, where are you? What have you got?
Don't worry, just roll 4s on all of her drives. It's fine.
She's going to use move subtle to try and keep the momentum. She's using her faith. And I think she's gonna try and pull one of those ladies moves. She's like, you're my only hope here. Don't press me into exposing my brother, and she's moving sinuously. She's a dancer, so I'm going to leverage her performer trait to reduce the difficulty rate down by 1 from 2 to 1. She's going to use my body as my art. That's her faith drive. So that's congruent. She's going to use elegance as her focus and do that as a move, subtle move, as she sort of cozies up to you. Slinky.
Yeah.
And I'm going to spend a threat to give her another dice. So D1 using a focus. 3 dice.
Right.
You sure you don't want me to roll for her? Because.
Please.
Okay, so yeah, she got a crit.
She got 3.
Yeah.
She got 3, so
and a
she gets 2
success.
threat back.
She gets 2 threat back. Just put them over there. And with a subtle move, she gets to keep the initiative without spending momentum. Is there anything else that comes out of a subtle move apart from that? I can't remember. Taking action.
I don't believe so.
I don't think so. It's just that, isn't it?
You move your asset and you keep the initiative.
Yeah. And she's trying to get more intimate with you and leverage her wiles and her charm and her sensuous sort of like movement. As she, she's saying, don't do this to our family. Don't bring anyone else in. Help us. Almost sort of like pleading. She keeps the initiative. She's going to create an asset. I'm going to spend 2 momentum as she keeps the initiative, 2 threat to keep the initiative. Spend those 2. Try and create an asset of being very desirable and vulnerable in this moment.
A trait for this scene.
Well, I could create as an asset, or I could create as a trait. Yeah, I'll create as a trait, a scene sort of like trait. She's very so this will affect anybody against her at the moment. Yeah, so she's this, she's this vulnerable, beautiful woman. Is the trait that I've sort of like created, and that's the end of her turn. I believe it's now Brava's, and then we get to switch.
Okay. I'm gonna still try to establish a rapport with Venetia and try to
not again
with her. I know.
Come on,
help us all.
You got it. You can do it. You've had the practice.
But, at this time. And
show
I'm gonna
me
say,
another one, Uncle Brava. Show me another sign.
I will. But first, you got to tell me what's going on with your brother Darvo. Why didn't he join House Obscura? And the next trait I'll teach you is soldier. But you got to tell me something first.
Oh, she gets very excited about that. Okay,
nice.
So this is a move.
Well, I'm hoping it'll be. I don't know if this will be a move or this. So I'll move. I don't know if it should be subtly, because you can't keep the initiative at this point. We've already done that once, right?
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
So it should be bold, and then get her to give me a trait, an asset, like a truth about her brother, like something. I want her to tell me.
Yeah. So definitely a bold.
So this will be,
You could also go directly towards creating the asset.
I do, but I also want to preserve some of that momentum for the attack that I think is coming in the other room. No.
You can have it as part of the conflict.
How's that? Say that again.
Hey, so you can, as part of the conflict, you can create a trait or asset on a difficulty 2 test.
Okay. So I don't have to spend momentum for that.
Nope, it's just a difficulty 2 test.
Okay.
It's on 168. If you want to get into rules, Loy.
No, that's fine. That's great. I love it. So let's. Although having me roll for traits for difficulties is not really going to be my strong suit today.
It's just difficulty 2, so it's the same difficulty as the move. So
okay. Then how about the trait, a temporary trait of trustworthy.
Yeah.
Because we're sharing now. And I'll roll. That's communicate, I'm assuming, or?
I think it's primarily a communication skill, yeah.
Okay. And I'm going to use, in this case, duty again. That I would do I would do anything for my, not
really
just give up my own blood, but
a soldier. Is that what you're saying?
Manipulate a small child. Easy. Like, let's get, sure, no problem. That's not a thing that Brava has a problem with. I don't know this family the way that Tarash does, so.
He's a moral shade
All
of
right.
grey.
And
It's a moral shade of grey, this man.
Yeah, sure. Yeah, well, for him, it's not actually. For him, the house takes everything, takes precedence. So, do we want to buy a die and hope that we burn, we generate some momentum here?
Do you have a focus that applies?
I do.
If you have a focus that applies, then it's a good risk to roll the momentum.
Yeah, the secret language part is the whole part of that. I'm using that communication.
Now, what was that complication that you had going on earlier, and does this still apply?
That I'm out of. Oh, that's right. I'm out of my. So I put a complication for communicate disconnected. That I'm out of my depth when dealing with kids.
Yeah. So you've still got that going on. I mean, you can sacrifice. You can give me threat in order to momentarily ignore that complication if you wanted to. Otherwise, it's going to raise the difficulty level.
I think we've got to at this point. What do you think, guys? Is there a strong objection?
You don't have
to
any
that?
traits. You don't have any traits to throw at it.
I do have several. I have. He is devoted and vigilant, but I don't know if that's going to be something that's going to be, override in this case.
I guess you mean. I mean, you're devoted to your house, really, aren't you?
To the house.
Yeah. And you're sort of like promising to kind of like, oh yeah, I'll train you as a soldier, kind of thing, and yeah, I think I could buy that one working. Not the other one so much, but I think I could buy that one working. So that
devoted. Okay.
Devoted will counteract the complication and take us back to.
We'll balance that out, so it still stays at 2.
Yeah.
And then I'll spend a point of momentum to roll 3 dice under duty.
Comes another complication.
Come on.
I know it.
3 blues this time. Like, all the blues.
Right? Blues. 3 ones across the board. Here we go. Communicate.
Do we see the blues or do we sing the blues?
Duty. Right. And we'll do 3 dice. With a focus, yes.
Hey.
Oh, yeah,
successes.
okay. Nice.
Damn, that was close. That 19 was nearly me.
I know. I'm just glad you're not upping the difficulty. The
yeah, no, that's the other scene.
Yeah, exactly. All right. So we got 2. I created the trait but that's just to create the trait of trustworthy for Venetia.
Yeah.
Now, is that my action in this turn, or do I need to move on?
Yeah, that's your action for the turn.
Yeah, that's your action.
Great. So I'll do that. So I'm basically in kind of like earning her trust in that action then.
Yeah.
And boldly, So it's not moving boldly. It's just creating the trait. So
yeah. So you would now have the temporary trait of like Venetia trusts me.
Yeah, absolutely.
Nice.
Which will lower the difficulty level in terms of working with her. Brilliant. Okay. Now, I do want to switch over to see what's happening in the world of beanbags and analysis. But I think this would be a good dive just for a swift bio break and a supportive beverage and a word from our sponsors.
Ooh, that sounds amazing. A word from our sponsors.
Yeah. See you in 5.
I think we might have to budge that from a house perspective, given how long our adventures are.
We take our time.
Given that 5 sessions into it, and we're just out of the preface, means that we're going to have like a solid 25 adventure points by the time we're done.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah.
Well, that's fine. But
It's
then
like-
if you can only spend so much, then
You bank them for next time,
You
and then
bank
the
them
next
for
time when you
next
do
time.
want to build your skill higher, yeah.
Well, that's what I mean. Like,
Right,
I
but the
could buy something now. Having another 10, 20 advancement points, I can't buy more things, and
or
points are going to sit there,
all the
Yeah, because the other thing is we're then going to keep building them up, right? Like,
Yeah, and not being able to spend them.
Well, here's the other thing that we can do. We could just lean into it. We're playing a very long form game, that's fine. But we have the idea for sort of like a team approach. So when you've spent the
Transfer.
advancement points that you've got on these characters, you can then transfer it and use it on another character.
The next one.
that would be cool.
Because then my only worry about having teams of characters is you advance this character set up and you get used to them and they're better and they've got all these assets and things. Then you move to a set of characters and they're all newbies. But if you could take the excess
all-
advancement points with them
Points to buff them.
to
yeah.
buff them, then they come up a bit
Yeah.
closer to the level that you're at. And I think that works. Maybe we solve it there.
Yeah,
That's a good
I'm down
idea.
for that.
That's a good thought.
And then we sell that to Modifius as an expansion.
Yeah. Yeah.
Right.
Brilliant. I love playing this game. I've got well into it.
Good, it's a fun one.
Yeah, I'm enjoying it as well.
I find it hard to play, but it is fun.
Yeah.
It is a challenge, yeah.
Yeah, me
Mechanically,
too.
it's
Yeah. Just sometimes my head is
We're
going
learning it though.
social conflicts, abstract stuff. Hang on, she said that you said, and you said this, and then that complication over there means that. It's quite a lot to hold in, but it's getting easier.
And it doesn't. I mean, it's also we're also giving you a major handicap by splitting the scene. Like, okay, while we're doing a social conflict, then also do this encryption conflict over here, and then split back and forth. And so,
I don't mind.
yeah, it's got to be a lot. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't mind. I don't mind that because it's quite nice if you don't mind it, because then you can have one thing going on over here, and then when my brain gets full, I can just sort of park that for a bit and then go over to the beanbag shenanigans and the analysis.
That's a good way of looking at it.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
You know, the very serious, dangerous conflict. Then the Volabon's beanbags going on and
Have to have
back in
some
the
levity.
nerd room.
I feel like that's our joint memoir for Tiran and Blake. Is full of us and beanbags.
But time marches on. You know, an hour has been burned in this situation. What now? Tiran, you were, I believe, hoping to delve deeper into this information memo corder. Momentum is a little low, however.
It is.
And getting into those encrypted files will be D4, but you do have a trait of the analysis palace, so to speak, being in your office.
Yes.
So it's a D3.
And we said I could throw perceptive at it.
Yes. So we
Now,
take that down to a D2. So, you know, you're crunching your way through to it becoming more achievable now.
yeah. And then I'm again wondering if it's worth using the intense study just to get a focus out of it.
Let's revisit that.
If you need help, you could always come and dig Blake out of the beanbag, and he'll come in and I don't know, do something.
As you come out of your trance-like state, you would notice that the door has been shut between your office and Veritas's. But certainly you could leverage some assistance. Now, you can use your understanding in the single skill test. I mean, delving into information and try and get into this technology, what skill would that be? The question is whether it would be understand anyway.
It would, but I wouldn't have a focus. I don't think I've got an applicable focus.
So yeah, okay, yeah, if you want to leverage that.
Alright, I'll use that, and then I've got understand. I think truth is more powerful than any weapon applies here again.
Yes. Are you wanting to call upon aid?
I'm gonna assume that if that door got closed, it was for a reason. Then again, the conversation would be over, like, because that conversation didn't take an hour.
No, it's over.
Oh.
So
we're on
So
to
Blake
a whole new hour.
we can assume Blake could have just wandered in by now, right?
Yeah, if you wish to.
Yeah.
If that will help with your mentat social anxiety to open the door, then
yeah. Doors are the ultimate challenge in role-playing games. We all know this.
It's stuffy in here, Blake.
Yeah.
So
I come swanning in, tucking the ornate envelope into my robes.
He's got his golden ticket.
I will ask Blake.
What's the seating like in your office? Let's get down to important information.
There's comfy chairs, but they're not beanbag chairs.
Oh. Alright, well, I'll take a chair. If it's comfy, I'm happy still.
Yeah. Alright, I will use some momentum. Use a momentum. Using a focus. That's not bad. So we've got one momentum that I can... Let's sit on that. Okay, I need to... Why is this... Why do I still have... What the heck?
You got a complication out of that as well.
I'm stuck in the text mode, even though I... There we go. Let me change back now. So I need to move the momentum over to... There we go. Right.
Yeah, and you have a complication, unfortunately.
Oh, yes, I do.
And you know how I love thinking of abstract complications on the fly.
Good.
Well, if you want to house rule complications away, that's fine, Steve. I just want to make your game easier for you. It's fine.
Well, maybe.
You could buy it off, but otherwise I'll delight.
Well, you don't have quite enough.
I feel like we can. I don't want to create more threat when our momentum's already this low. Let's think of what that complication could be.
Maybe a flag is raised.
In the data? Like there's some I get into one layer of encryption and find some stuff, but another area is
shut off. Yeah. And you were aware that this was a risk. This was what you were frightened of, and this is what has happened, is that it has shut down. It sort of like doubled down on the encryption on another juicy bit of data, but it gives you something, so you get more information out of it. I think what it reveals to you is, doesn't come as a massive shock, but it is a delightful confirmation that the information that has started flowing into Anna Vesarian's accounts is ultimately sourced through dummy accounts, but ultimately flows directly from Barragan. So you're not shocked by that, but it is delightful to have confirmation, proof, positive. The Barragan,
a digital paper trail, if you will.
Yeah, Barragan is
a very tenuous paper trail that deletes itself if we're not careful with it. So I'm trying to think. What I'd like to do is, if I use that, I can use a point of momentum, the point of momentum we generated, and the last point of momentum we have left to generate an asset. like a copy of this as evidence, but then I can't make it permanent unless that's worth giving up to threat.
Or you could consider knowing what the complication is, that it's locked off something even more juicy than that, to buy it off and have the opportunity of getting at that juicy stuff. Tantalizing.
And also, the scene's not over yet, right? We have a chance to flip back to us. We have a chance to
They might
get more build momentum. As long as you do it before the scene ends, you can always give them threat at the end of the scene.
True. So I'm going to burn the 2 momentum to create an asset which is evidence of Berrigan paying for the spice.
That's a good plan.
Yeah. You create indelible, time, date stamped, source stamped hard copies that demonstrate fairly irrefutably that Berrigan is buying their way into Vesarian's affections and supporting her financially with her spice habit. Just the kind of caddish, underhand stuff you expect from Berrigan and Kalimar, those cronies over there. Subtle as bricks.
But while Corrado's working on this, does he give away, let's say he's messed something up that Blake would notice? Or does he just look chirpy?
So just eyelids
Because he's got
twitches.
some info. How is it?
I don't know. What would you say, Cornrow? Do you betray through subtle signs that could be read?
Oh, it's
when
not
it gets
subtle.
locked off, do you go,
there's-
oh shit.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. It's more it's kind of like crap, son of a...
Control Z. Shit.
A problem, mentat?
Oh, I triggered a security
That's bad.
protocol, which deleted it is. The good news is it means that there's less work for me to do. I jest. The good news is there was still other data there that I was able to analyze, and we can now conclusively say that Berrigan is funding Vesarian spice habit.
That's a silver lining at least.
And I was able to pull out a copy of the data that should serve as conclusive evidence to the fact. Would that be useful at some point?
Good. Wonder what's keeping the Contessa.
Oh, yes, well, I presume it's a busy day for her, what with the Emperor visiting.
It is.
Yeah.
And in the background you would hear there's a lot of flurry of activity, generally going on. Does Tiran tend to keep the door open to his office, a bit like Veritas, or is it a door closed situation?
While I'm doing this analysis, I'd have the door closed. I don't know if... I want to concentrate. B, I don't know if just every servant walking by should know this quite yet.
Speaking of servants walking by, the discreet jeweled display next to your door illuminates with a soft bing bong, indicating that there's someone politely wanting to enter into your office.
I assume that I have a desk-based control to acknowledge and permit entry.
Yes, I'm not going to force you to create an asset for that. Yes, it's there.
All right. Or you could, or force me to get up which isn't Tiran's forte.
Oh no!
After all the time in the beanbags
And the hors d'oeuvres.
and the order reporting.
Yeah. It probably has a tray of hors d'oeuvres.
Yes, yeah. Well, that's the other thing is I wanted to actually, from a mechanic standpoint, before we get to the person at the door, is do we have this 6 hours before we need to leave for the event or before the event?
Oh, before the event.
Okay, so what's our travel time to the event from House Obscura?
Oh, don't get too caught up on it. When the final slice is filled, then you will have time to travel there.
Okay, so this is 6 hours to having to leave for the event.
Yeah.
Perfect. Okay, and all right then. Yes, let's open the door to our guest.
Yeah. So
permit them to.
Yeah, you open the door and sort of like standing there as the shadow mapes. Oh, what did I do with her there? I pinged her off. That's ridiculous. Go back. Come back. Come here. God damn you, roll 20.
It costs 2 threat to bring back the shadow mage.
Yeah. Ugh, which one is it? I've forgotten how to do that now. Right. Beep. There she is. And yes, as everyone knows who plays in any of my games, all housekeepers and/or servants are of the female persuasion, are a consuela, and this is no exception. This is, as you know, the Consuela Maritus Domingus, and she sort of like hovers at the door, and she has in her hand a very plush-looking envelope, not too dissimilar to the one that Blake pocketed gleefully earlier, bearing the seal that you recognise instantly of the Contessa, and seeking permission to enter with her eyes from behind her spectacles.
Please come in.
She comes in. And she prefer. Apologies to interrupt, but this comes from the office of the Contessa. She says, sort of like smiling, looking around, smiling at Blake, sat in his comfortable chair.
Thank you.
Stony faced.
I accept the delivery.
Any return message or anything you wish at this time, Master Mentat?
Perhaps wait a moment. I will, and I'll open up the missive that I've just received.
This is so exciting that Blake's going to get out the chair and come and stand behind you.
Yes, and you see, in the formal signature of the Contessa and the stamp and the seal of the House of Obscura, that is formally validating the action to instigate the legal action of Canley and Amicia, and informing you that this has been undertaken by the office of the envoy. So it's the job of Ambassador Ureland to execute this communication. It's all been signed off and has been actioned. God, bureaucracy, 2D20. It's a new game of exciting aristocratic bureaucracy.
We navigate the balance of intrigue and bureaucracy.
You do. And Consuela Maritas Dominguez, she just sort of like hovers very sort of like discreetly and unobtrusively.
You can let the Contessa know that the message was well received.
Very good. She hesitates.
Hang on a minute. Do we have to get this to Irulan?
No, that's done.
That's done. So, thank God for that. I don't have to talk to her.
No, you don't. Yeah.
I was kind of hoping we'd have to go give her orders. That would have been fun.
No, that's come. Irulan has received and executed the officer's orders direct from the Contessa. Well, the Shadow Mapes is just politely looking around, her eyes casting around your office discreetly. Is that all?
Yes, that's all. Thank you.
She backs out.
This is good. We have legal precedent to prevent any dueling at the exhibition.
That
as I understand
is,
it.
That is a wonderful development.
You
So
sound
dueling at the
ecstatic.
exhibition. No, I'm too busy trying to think of a good pun to make about dueling at the exhibition, arguably being its own artistic endeavor.
Mm.
Some kind of performance thing. I'm sure Sergeant Bravo would be thrilled by it. And I take another hour to commit this data to my mind palace.
Yes. You can do that.
All right then.
Perhaps when you're done with that, we could get to the exhibition early.
If you'd like,
set
yes.
up. Well,
that sounds like a good plan.
I'm done back at base. I've had a wonderful discussion with the Spy Master. I'm fully up to date on postmodern desert landscapes and, you know, all that kind of business, so...
Fantastic. I'm glad you got your research in. Veritas is
most enlightening.
A very diversely talented individual.
He's a man of many surprises.
Indeed.
And let us... Yeah, sorry.
I was going to say, and I sit back in the chair and resign myself to another hour of watching the men calculate things. Maybe I'll slip some hors d'oeuvres while I wait.
Oh, I'm happy to share. Yeah, go.
Oh, wonderful.
He has got a delightful selection, a diverse range of treats.
I do wish the Shadow Nymphs was back, now that I think of it.
Oh well, she could be just
be
still...
summoned.
Yeah, no.
Lean out the door.
Yeah, she hasn't quite managed to get out of the scene yet.
She's still sitting at the door.
She's very
discreet. If you could bring us some more hors d'oeuvres. She has that William Turage effect.
Yeah.
If you could bring us another
House Obscura, very discreet. Yes.
Oh, but of course, she says, and she moves quite nimbly. Actually, you know, I'm going to do something with her.
We
Ominous.
have poison snoopers, right?
Yes. D3, but I'll reduce it D2 because she has the trait servant. She's going to use understand and truth and her unobtrusive focus. I mean, you did catch her glancing around the place. I'm going to burn a trait, burn a threat to give her another dice. One. She doesn't quite bloody well grasp what it is that you're doing in this office. Never mind.
Oh, shucks.
But she goes out. Yeah.
I was hoping she could help me with the analysis when she got back with the hors d'oeuvre.
Yeah. She doesn't get it. She backs out and returns shortly, you know, at an appropriate juncture with a medley of fresh sort of like hors d'oeuvres, and she takes away the ones that you've been hoarding that have been going a bit stale and refreshes them.
Tiran does a poor job of hoarding hors d'oeuvres. They're mostly getting consumed.
Fair dues. Well, let's return to see. Oh dear. Now, start of momentum now back in the ruined household. You know, you have, you know, Victoria has been giving as good as she got, but the initiative is with you. Who wants to take it?
I think
now
that
you have it. Yeah. I think now that you have it, you should press the attack there, right?
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say. Yeah. So she's like, the thing is, she's like, slinkied up to William. But William is an infiltrator. This is what he does for a job: is like fake stuff to get information out of people. So, I've got this asset, which is the wire that's full of, as far as she's concerned, blackmail information.
Yes.
I know that Brava's gone out the other room with Venetia, so while she's outside there, I will, I'll do the same. I'll cuddle up to her and be like, now, I am not going to, and I'm saying this really quiet because I don't want Venetia to hear, but I'm going to say, like, look, I am not going to give you another chance. Give me some information, or this blackmail is going straight back to Veritas, because we've got shit to do and we don't have time to sit around here all day.
Absolutely.
Playing this game.
Nevertheless, so you're doing that attack, so she sets the difficulty rating in this case, and she does have that trait which makes it more difficult for you, which is this: it is harder to negotiate the fact that she's this vulnerable, beautiful woman. Makes it harder.
Is she also still vulnerable from before? Did that pass in a? Is that like a one-turn thing? When I first sort of implied whatever, she became vulnerable. She got a tear in her eye, and remember that?
Yeah, but I don't think that was a trait that was created then, unless I'm very much mistaken. That was more the narrative of.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Yeah.
All right.
But she's exposing her vulnerability towards you in order to make it harder for you to attack this woman.
Sure. Okay.
Now she's setting the difficulty rating.
Yep.
Which would normally be, it says D2 test. But because she's got this trait, I'm going to make it a D1.
Doesn't she just roll it and that's how many I have to get?
Oh yeah, I think you're right. Yeah, I'm just trying to think.
She sets the difficulty by her roll.
Yeah, but I'm just trying to think about how to apply the trait because it makes it more difficult for you. Therefore, I was thinking it would make it easier for her. But if you see what
it would add one success to her rolls.
Ah,
basically.
Thank you. That's how it does. I knew it must apply somehow. Otherwise, what was the point of all that?
If you roll 3 successes, it counts as a 4th.
It's 4, yeah.
Okay. So here we go then. So this is going to be.
You sure you want me to roll? Because I'm happy to.
No, I don't. Not with your
take
track
this one for the
record
team.
thus far. Actually, I'd rather have.
I'm shocked. I don't know what you mean.
I'll take Blake rolling right now.
Right.
So communicate. Roll with faith. I'm burning a threat for an extra dice. I'll take that off in a minute, giving her 3 dice. I'll burn 2 more threat to add another dice to make it 4. She'll use her focus of elegance, because it's about wiles here. Feminine wiles.
So I need 5.
Yes.
Successes.
Actually, that's 4 on the roll, plus
And
the
then-
trait is a 5th.
Yes.
Yeah, so 5 successes. That's what I said.
Yeah.
So.
Oh, sorry. You were correct. I was agreeing with you in a really weird way. Sorry.
Yeah.
5.
Okay,
Yes.
thank you.
You're 100% right. Yes.
Yeah.
So I need 5 successes, but I would like to try and leverage a few things of my own. Firstly,
Let's leverage away.
infiltrator, because, like I say, this is what William does. He knows that she is trying this out, and also ruthless.
Yes, you are being ruthless.
Because
Two off.
and now I know Venetia is next door. So I need 3 successes now.
Does the house being discreet apply in that you're still trying to keep this under wraps and deal with it person to
Can I
person
use discreet as well?
Yes.
Because I've waited for Venetia to be outside. Brilliant.
Yes.
So now I need 2 successes.
Yeah, you've taken it all the way down.
Okay. I need 2. Is this communicate again?
Yes.
Yeah. So I'm going to use communicate. I would like to use my power comes at a knife's edge.
Yes.
Because now I'm just going to do everything to get some information out of her. Can I use a focus of stealth because I'm keeping it quiet?
Yeah.
And away from the others.
Nice. I like it all. It's all being.
How many dice? Hang on. So
I think a point of threat might be worth it to get.
Oh yeah. I mean, you're on 4. I'm going to give you 3 threat to get 2 more.
Get 2 more die. There you go.
I can't draw threat out of theirs, just so you know. So I get 4 dice, and I need 2 successes.
Oh.
I
accidentally.
You had 4. You've got 6 now.
Yeah. I just pressed the wrong button.
It's a classic tale. Using a focus, yes. Come on, so I need 2. Oh, 1.
Yes. You got 3.
I got 1.
Wait, what? Oh, I'm sorry. I
got 3 red.
Sorry, I was looking at the wrong one. Yeah, you got 3. 17.
God damn.
Wow. Okay.
Ooh.
Just gonna try and fix my threat deck. It's gone weird. Nope. How many threat have I actually got? It's refusing. I've got 6.
6.
I'm gonna have to use the old-fashioned drawing on your hand shit. Right, 6. Ridiculous. But we got 1.
I only got 1 success, and I needed 2.
You needed 2. Yeah. So her wings.
Is there a way I can assist on this attack?
Oh yeah.
Yeah, you can do.
I'm going to
Yeah.
ask you that as well.
Yeah.
Okay. I am going to do something ruthless and discreet. Basically, I'd like to make a communicate roll, and I want to stand with sort of like so that Venetia, the child, is between myself and Victoria. She can see me, but the child can't. And I have my sword, like put my hand on my sword and just
Good man, go on.
Like it would not be.
I kind of knew you were going to do something. You're threatening a child, right?
Hell yeah.
Yeah. And this would be my focus of intimidation on communicate.
Hell yeah.
So it's not I'm not using a battle skill, although I could use battle.
Well, I was going to say,
but I don't think it would...
I mean, you determine the drive. It is a kind of form of communication, but I mean,
well, that's the skill which you determine. So I'm trying to figure out with you, like what would be, what would be the best. Either one, I'm fine with.
I think
threatening a small child is no new thing to me. So
I think this is a case, one of those cases where battle would come in because it's
okay.
Yeah.
Then he'll stand, so that Venetia can't see it, but Victoria absolutely can. And with his focus of long blades and his sword on him, he'll also roll duty, my blood for my house. Like I would give anything, including this child's blood.
I was gonna say, is that in
but I only get to roll
1d20. Blood, but never mind, carry on.
I only get to roll 1d20 to help, though. So
blood for my house. Yeah, go for it.
Her blood, everyone's blood for my house.
That kid's blood for my.
1 die, using a focus. Yes.
Hell yeah. Well done.
I got 2 more for you.
Well, that
Brilliant. So we get 1
Saves your bacon.
momentum. Boop. Hell yeah. That's awesome.
And that's a successful attack.
And that's a successful attack. It's
This
enough
is
to,
not an
to beat
extended
that.
task. This is enough to defeat her.
Mm-hmm.
Nice.
She, as an NPC, could resist long-term defeat. Now, you can, if you wanted to, if you have momentum, which you have, make this defeat a long-term defeat. Really, like
Make
you
it permanent, like
make it
yeah.
permanent, like you hold something over this woman. She's, and the runes by extension. If you wanted to spend your momentum, which you're going to lose at the end of this scene, or you can keep it because it will flip over to team comfortable chair
side, yeah.
in House Obscura.
Team brains over there, yeah.
It's up to you, but I offer you it.
Maybe in this case, spending a threat might be. I mean, I know they're at 6, but is it a 1 point to make this a permanent defeat?
That's a great question. Sorry, I was just distracted by trying to
I'm
get
going
my
to find out. I asked you first before you could ask me.
I don't mind. I don't mind leaving the momentum for the other guys, because this is like Victor is sort of still my friend, maybe, and this is still his family. What's the if she's gonna like come after us, she's putting Victor in more shit herself anyway.
So So just to clarify, she can't resist defeat because she's not a notable enough non-player character to do.
Yeah.
Is it telling me about how to make it a longer lasting defeat? It's 1 or 2 momentum, I can't remember. I was reading it earlier.
It doesn't matter for now. I'm not going to spend it for now, but
fair enough.
We'll find it after.
We'll find it after so that we know. Yeah, I mean, so that momentum carries on. She breaks down, a little, as her eyes widen as she sees, perhaps the sort of almost like the shadow of Brava looming over her child. Go for full sinister appearance there, as her child is sort of innocently sort of like giggling, and she says, he said he was just working for Obscura on missions of subterfuge. That he was smuggling things to get inside Barragan, and it was all for the house. But then that bitch turned up, didn't she?
Eleanor.
Yeah. And she starts telling me about how if I didn't give up my son, then they'd come after Venetia, they'd destroy us all, that Victor is in their pockets, and this whole mess is his creation. He went too far, he's got lost in it.
Well, thanks for confirming what we knew already. And I'll be sort of like hugging her, do you know what I mean? So it looks nice to Venetia, even though we're having this little quiet conversation.
Yeah, I mean, she's gently with her tears sort of like moistening your lapel as she sort of like sobs, and she's giving you an asset here of of rune's been flipped to House Vesarian.
Okay. Awesome.
So you have that knowledge. That definitive.
Cool.
Yeah. Well played.
And then I'll jolly around to Venetia. Oh, what's the sergeant showed you? Has he shown you any more? I do the symbol for, like, I don't know, friends that he taught her before, because I've learnt that from him.
Now, if you wanted to make that a permanent asset, you could, but you need to spend momentum in order to do that. To take it away.
It's 2 to make it permanent.
Yeah.
It's 2 to make it permanent. So well, I guess give you 2 threat then, because I still want to leave some momentum for the other guys.
Would that
Even if
involve
it's only
like
one.
making it some kind of permanent record, like a physical record of that?
Yeah.
Is there
Yeah,
some kind of
some
like evidence that we take with us that says, hey, this is Victor's been flipped?
Yeah, if you make it permanent, then she will effectively give you some damning evidence, some just something written and sort of like contractual almost, that demonstrates that Rund has been leading, at least for the last 2-3 months, a double life, effectively in the pocket of Barragan.
2-3 months, you say?
Yeah.
Yeah, brilliant. Perhaps she just, like you say, gives us some evidence. So
she gives us the receipt, whatever. Yeah.
Yeah. So I'll give you, if I can do it.
For. Here you go. Here's the receipt.
So our momentum's been pinched, but we haven't spent that. I've give you 2 threat to make that permanent.
Yeah, no, I'm just struggling with the interface.
Oh, okay.
I'm going to temporarily stick momentum here into my threat pool, otherwise I'm going to lose.
Yeah, sure.
So you've still got that momentum.
Yeah, threat not behaving.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, it's not.
No, you can't draw it
2,
out.
3, 4, 5, 6, isn't it? I've got
1 more you have now.
one more because you paid that off to make it permanent. Nice.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
I made one appear.
Hey!
Oh, well done.
Just
Is that the
the
one
one,
you
though.
hid earlier?
Oh.
Maybe that's why
I
I'm
don't think I
struggling.
hid it. You told me to delete them all. They're all in the removed card thing.
I'm just glad it was
we found
me.
another one.
Oh my god.
I'm just glad it wasn't me
How
who
you do
broke
that?
something. I'm like so glad.
Oh no!
They're all in the
Where did they come
removed
from?
card thing.
Oh.
Moved card.
You
Oh, they
click
are,
on
yeah.
the
No, those
threat.
momentum are
Like to do.
legal hours
Right.
now. They're on the board. They're
What's
our
going on?
momentum.
There's
They moved to
threat
our
everywhere.
pile. That's how that.
There you go. You still can't drag new ones out, but
Yeah, but
You
I
can get your removed ones back. Recycled threat. That's weird.
Yeah.
Sometimes you can fix things by just clicking on random stuff. till it
Random
works.
clicking. Speaking of fixing things with random clicking, let's go back and see what's going on with Tiran Garde.
Ooh, smooth.
Nice.
Aye.
Nice segue. Very smooth.
So there we are in the office, and the Shadow Mapes. By the way, I don't know if you noticed, but her token is based on the original actress for the Shadow Mapes.
That looks like Linda. I was gonna say that's
Linda Hunt,
played
yeah.
by Linda Hunt. It
Yes,
looks like.
yeah. I've reincarnated her. And she's putting down the hors d'oeuvres and just refreshing, and she's just sort of instantly dusting, around. What would you like to do now?
I would like to point out that we'll be leaving shortly, and she needs to please exit the office.
She's tidying away. Yes. And she looks at you slightly askance, as if there's no need for that. but she sort of like nods, sort of like demurely, and she just says, sometimes people you don't know at all might be the best ally you never knew you had, she said.
That can be the case in some circumstances.
There isn't.
Is there a reason I should believe that I have an ally that I don't know about at this time?
There isn't a room in this house that I don't clean. And she just smiles a little as she sort of finds some other bit of detritus, pops it onto her tray. If you take my meaning.
I understand that you are a good person to be on good terms with.
I serve my lady faithfully. And I would not see her come to any harm.
Do I detect anything but honesty in this statement?
Ooh, that sounds like an understand roll. We love a roll.
All right. And I have got a body language focus, so...
Oh, yeah, that'll work.
Oh.
Alrighty. So we've got understand. What difficulty am I working with here?
D2.
Okay. I will, we're still working with the truth.
Yes.
It's very central to today's. It's my theme for today.
Yeah.
And I'll select that. I will, because I've got a focus, I will drop a momentum on this roll. Hopefully generate some more.
You just stare into those blue within blue eyes.
And using a focus, yes.
Ooh.
Okay.
Hey.
Pretty good.
So we get our momentum back.
We do.
But we don't get any extras.
Well, hang on. So
you said difficulty 2, but we didn't.
Yeah, but
oh, I am also an empath, which would can we reduce the difficulty to 1 because I have the trait empath?
Yes, but also, I mean, you use your focus there. Hang on a minute.
Yep. So we've got 3 successes.
3 successes, and you could. I think you should have used your empath there because you're really sort of like tuning. So you do get momentum out of that.
All right. So I'll put that momentum in the pot.
Mm-hmm. So at least you'll have one to take away for Ron for later on.
And does she seem forthright?
Just checking her out. In terms of what she's saying, in terms of her being a loyal, long-standing servant of the Contessa and not wishing
she
to see
said
her
that she didn't, yeah.
Absolutely. Absolutely that is the case. Like, almost probably her personal devotion to the Contessa is more at stake than what she feels about the house. It's like Contessa before the house for her.
That's good. So I was going to ask which mistress she meant, seeing as we had 2 Bene Gesserits.
Yeah.
But if it's a Contessa, then we don't need to try and detain the sandwich lady.
The Contessa
smash a vol of on.
The Contessa is well served by people of your caliber. Do you know of any dangers that face her?
Much closer at hand, I fear, than the Contessa. So close that the Contessa can't see them. And then she looks at Blake, and then she looks back at you.
Yes. Blake, can you go check with Veritas and sure you've got all of the art information that you need for this evening?
I'm alright. I've had enough of him, I think. I've seen him like 4 times today.
All right then, because I'm going to just start another hour or two of staring at numbers. So if you want to sit, you can sit in here or go sit in the beanbag. So your call.
Another hour of numbers. Fine, I'll go and find out what's going on in there. I'll get up and flounce out the room with a plate of olivons. I'm taking some with me.
That's fair. Enjoy. I will.
Hear in the distance me announcing myself to.
I'll go and close. I'll go and close the door, and turn my attention back to the shadow and me. Do you know of any dangers that present themselves to the Countess?
She reaches into her robes and she pulls out an asset.
It's a laser gun. You're dead.
No.
No.
She pulls out a memory recorder cube and just places it on the desk. And says, "As I said, there's not a room in this house that I don't clean. And And now that she's seen that Blake has departed, she says, "The envoy is not to be trusted. I wouldn't want to shame Ambassador Smurk with this knowledge, or perhaps that was wrong of me. I leave it to your judgment as to what you care to share. But," and she just motions to the little cube and says, "Ambassador Irulan wouldn't want this to fall into anyone else's hands, but it was cluttering up her apartment."
I understand. You've done the right thing. It's much easier for me to share information as necessary than to try to withdraw information from somebody who's already aware of it.
So,
my knowledge, the ambassador is a loyal servant as well, but don't discuss this with anybody except me for now.
Oh no. She's giving you an asset, illicit recording.
Woohoo!
And I'll just take that off her character sheet.
Is it a high quality illicit recording?
I wouldn't know. I'm afraid not.
In Dolby surround sound, yes. In Dune B surround sound. I don't know.
Yes.
Right, just trying to figure out how you get rid of. Ah, there you go. Oop, being gone. And she'll discreetly leave. So, I think anything else for Tiran and Blake? I mean, Blake, you appear to be announcing yourself to, I don't know where you are at the moment, but
I just go next door into Veritas's room for like the 5th time today.
He's playing the equivalent of Dune darts, really. He's got this big board of, of all these different houses and factions. There's red string everywhere, and he's chucking objects, darts at them, really. Sitting on the edge of his desk, occasionally flinging things, and he sort of like looks around with this sharp object in his hand and stops himself from hurling it in your direction and sort of like chucks it down so it actually sticks into the floor and says, "Now what, Smurk?"
The door's always open, is it not, Veritas?
The connecting door.
That's the door I came in.
You startled me.
You seem to be relieving some stress, Spymaster.
There's things I can't quite unpick here. It's not all bound up. It's not all neatly coming together for me. There's untethered strands. I'm eager to know the outcome of the Rund investigation. Where are your compatriots? Haven't they finished by now?
Oh, just checking my robes and no, they're not there, so I'm not sure, to be honest.
He huffs.
Maybe I shouldn't say that.
He huffs, yeah.
I'm sure the mentat just needed some privacy. But so here I am.
Did he need to be here in my office? Have you no quarters to go to or other duties to attend to in this moment? He says, eyeing the door, which is very open, that leads out into the corridor.
I can tell I'm not wanted. I bid you good day. And I turn around and I go back through the connecting door, back into the mentat's office.
Yeah. Shadow Mapes has left at this point, so it's just presumably Tiran having a mind palace moment again. Delving deep into the data, maybe.
Yeah.
I believe the Spymaster has had enough of me, Corrado, so
the intervening
I'm back. Are you done, yes?
That's alright. I believe the Shadow Babes just wanted to communicate some information discreetly. I haven't had a chance to look into it yet, but there might be even more reason to feel like there may be room for a promotion in your field sometime soon.
Excellent. I look forward to hearing more about that.
It'll take some analysis and digging, but I'll keep you appraised.
How did I know you were going to say that?
It's good to know that I'm reliable.
Yes.
I think that's
To
everything.
be
we
clear,
need to cover.
GM, I've been killing time for a while now. I've got nothing useful to do at all.
Let's flip back to the House Rund, where you have sort of like socially defeated Victoria Rund, and she's handed over that asset to you that's now lasting. You've even got a couple of points of momentum to spend. How would you want to leave it? Or is there anything that you want to do before you return as time ticks on?
We still have that temporary asset of evidence at our end, so you would want to turn that into permanent before the
do
end
that.
of that.
Well, use that.
Yeah.
I think we would just keep it civil and thank her for cooperation and reassure her, don't worry, we'll sort it out and blah, blah, blah. Maybe on the way out, I'd say to Venetia, look, you can always ring us and let us know what's going on, do you know what I mean? Because it was Venetia that rang us in the first place, wasn't it?
It was.
So I think she's more likely to, I don't think Victoria's going to rush to inform us of stuff, but Venetia might do.
She might do.
Yeah. And maybe a word of caution, like you should have, like, I almost feel like, part of that scene is like, you should have asked us, why did you not come to us for, you've just gotten yourself into way too deep. There's nothing wrong with asking for aid, but now it's, until it's too late.
Well,
But this is Victor, and this is what Victor's like, he doesn't...
Well, that's just Victor all over, isn't it?
And
Governor.
Yeah, I think, Venetia remains blithely unaware of the import of what's going on. She's really quite happy. After all, she's won Magic the Gathering June edition several times over, and she's learned some
new
hand
sign
signs.
language.
Yeah. Victoria is still clearly sort of like reeling and desperately worried, and is sort of like comforting a daughter, and her eyes are almost pleading, like, help.
We do anything else for her? Or we just leave it up to her to like...
We could offer for Victoria as well and say, listen, like, if you learn anything else, contact us before it's too late next time. Let us help.
Yeah.
Well, I think given everything that you said, sort of like in the leverage that you wielded sort of like over her sort of like successfully, and also there's an edge of fear, because after all you were just sort of like threatening her
maybe
daughter.
I say that to her. I don't 100%.
Brava this is not that. Brava saying this. I'm letting
I say
William be the good cop here.
Yeah.
You can see that she's taking that on board. You think it's not certain because you haven't got her as an asset or anything, but you've got the understanding that Victor's been flipped, but you think it's more likely that if you were meet with her again, her disposition towards you, William, would certainly be not neutral anymore, but because more out of desperation, because it's more likely to be friendly and compliant with you.
Right. Cool.
So you can sort of change the
just
status.
clarify that we have got a permanent asset of not of her, but of the information that she gave us, right?
Yeah, that's what I meant. That you haven't got
her
as an asset, as an informant, but
we've got all the information.
You've got the permanent asset of Victor's been flipped.
Cool. Yeah, brilliant.
Yeah, remember not to invite Brava next time. I think I've burned that bridge pretty effectively.
Unless
we I'm inviting Brava next time.
Unless we're making that statement, like Brava's back, and
Hand over the kid.
Yeah, we've already got a head start if we bring you next time. You don't have to like tiptoe around her or anything.
Yeah, we can swap places next time.
Venetia
You can operate the mentats.
Yeah.
And I can watch the mentat look at numbers for an hour. That'd be great.
Yeah.
Sure.
So let's just draw things together, I guess.
Yeah, we bez it back, knowing that we've
House
only got a few
Obscura.
hours.
Yeah.
Yeah, fly the honest up to back. On the way back, I'm like, thank God we didn't have to look at that bloody data thing. Imagine how tedious that would have been.
And a word of apology almost to William. I'm like, I'm sorry. I'm sure that was awkward for you. I hope I didn't make things difficult in the future with Victor.
Oh, I think you saved that situation. With what I might have seen out the corner of my eye there. I didn't see that at all, but appreciate you backing me up. And looking after Venetia.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah. Venetia's got another random uncle that she loves now.
Right?
Yeah. Elected uncles.
So, back in House Obscura then. perhaps you would be gathering together, unless there's any outstanding bits and pieces to do. I mean, I guess, there's still the tantalizing prospect of trying to burrow through that data, although you've lost some of it. But it has been a hard cookie to crack. But perhaps there's just a scene to end with of you gathering together and sharing all of what you've learned.
Yeah.
Catching each other up, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, look what we found. Look what she told us. We should go and show Veritas.
You should. He's got a real stick up his ass about this. And when you see him, make sure you tell him that I sent you as possible.
Well, why don't you just take it? You're like his pal. You should take this information.
He seems
He'll
to be.
go. He'll love that.
He seems to be a bit sick of me at the moment for some reason. But when you see him, put in a good word.
Some good news
for me.
from you may put him back in a good mood.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
Producing results often, Yeah.
There you go, big folder of evidence. There you go. Look at this. I put it on you in the beanbag. So you just weighed down.
And I may have some work for you infiltrated to Roche at some point.
Okay. Yeah, do you?
So.
Smashing.
But I'll speak to you more about that later, I think.
All right. Yeah, let's crack on.
So, are we going to see Veritas now?
It's up to you.
We've got time.
If you've got time.
Have we?
Well, we still have 4 hours, right? Or did we use any time slices since then?
Oh no,
we must have used some.
I think
going there and back.
I think with you going there and back and the sort of like extended sort of like conflict that you kind of like had with her, that gives us another one. You have 3 hours, so you do have time in the game. I wonder if we feel that we have enough time in the real life.
That's what I was thinking.
I'm so enjoying this. I could easily do another little scene, but I'm extremely bad at ending games in a reasonable time. So, what do you think?
Well, why don't we just take this stuff to Veritas so it's done, and the next time we'll be right into the exhibition. We won't have to do anything else.
There's an exhibition.
Or we could just play for 3 more hours. Also, enough,
do it all.
Do it all. Like it's only. You understand? It's only 3:30 in the afternoon for me. I'm like, I'm up. I'm here. Let's go. Let's do this. I got the day.
Yeah, I think this is probably a good time to sort of like call it. Let's say that you have given that information over to Veritas. We could just have a tiny little scene at the beginning next time where maybe we want to role play that out and test out all the implications.
It might be that
build some momentum.
Yeah, gives you a chance.
Yeah, and if we can earn some momentum,
I think
exhibition,
that would be a good way of doing it before you go into the exhibition. Let's do that.
Yeah, cool.
Probably solid. Yeah, but it's exciting. Okay, yeah.